This is American justice. This is American democracy. And those of you who are familiar with it know that in America, democracy is hypocrisy. Now, if I'm wrong, put me in jail. But if you can't prove that a democracy is not hypocrisy, then don't put your hands on me. Democracy is hypocrisy. If democracy means freedom, why aren't our people free? If democracy means justice, why don't we have justice? If democracy means equality, why don't we have equality? Who are you? You don't know? Don't tell me Negro, that's nothing. What were you before the white man named you a Negro? And where were you? And what did you have? What was yours? What language did you speak then? What was your name? It couldn't have been Smith or Jones or Bunch or Powell. That wasn't your name. They don't have those kind of names where you and I came from. No, what was your name? And why don't you now know what your name was then? Where did it go? Where did you lose it? Who took it? And how did he take it? What tongue did you speak? How did the man take your tongue? Where is your history? How did the man wipe out your history? What did the man do to make you as dumb as you are right now? 20 million black people in this country have been like boys in the white man's house. He even calls us boys. Don't care how big you get, he calls you boy. You can be a professor. To him, you're just another boy. I heard him calling Ralph Bunch. Well, he's a good old boy. And if we can't do it, we should hush our mouth. If you can't do for yourself what the white man is doing for himself, don't say you're equal with the white man. If you can't set up a factory like he sets up a factory, don't talk that old equality talk.
Welcome to another episode of You Left Shit Out. I'm your host, Compton J. Wait, I got a surprise guest. Not even a guest, a surprise member. You want me to wait to put you in? Oh, okay, I could put you in. Okay, cool.
What's going on, man?
In the building. Haven't been on the stream with you in a while. Good you joined in.
Yeah, man. I couldn't miss this one. I'm like, shit.
Yeah, this is completely impromptu because I'm like daily, trying to catch stories from corporate news, nigga. All they're talking about is Trump and that January 6th, man.
Oh yeah.
They ain't got nothing else to talk about. Me. Yeah, and they keep talking about democracy and we're gonna lose our democracy, and I'm like, nigga, what democracy? And that's what kind of started this whole thing. So that's where it came from. Of course, we had to start out with the great Malcolm X. Always great at articulating exactly at least some of my sentiments. So we're gonna get into the discussion. But what I want to do is kind of show you some of these corporate, like, I guess I could show you a couple of clips. Yeah, I'm gonna show you some of these corporate clips instead of going to the TV, because I can watch some of the freaking the entire episodes, but let's go to their clips, and because I just want to point out like what's going on here. So, but before we do that, let's do a chat check. Let's see who's in the building here. What you was doing, Rome? When you saw
just writing down some talking points so I won't lose my damn.
Oh no, I meant like before the stream. Like what were you doing before the stream?
Actually, getting ready for the stream. I saw this up. I was like, let me.
I was like, you got to get this.
I've been planning on getting on this one because a lot of people always talk about saving what's not even just MSNBC, but their parrots. I should call them viewers. They go out there parroting these same things, and I'm like, I'm a black man in America, bro. I never seen democracy ever. Like, it's like, oh well, we got certain examples of democracy, and this cop went to jail and that cop went to jail. Like, dude, we are bombing and starving people. Like, stop it.
Like, democracy is really not this hard. It's really not. Like, democracy, and shout out to Nick. Nick is in the building, and then a bunch of people actually in the chat. So, But democracy is not this hard, Rome. It doesn't take this much to really give somebody democracy. It takes a lot to stop somebody from having democracy, to stop somebody from having freedom. So they can miss me with the with that with that. But let me before we get started though, I'm just curious to know. I haven't heard what you thought about the Brianna interview.
Man,
you ain't been on the stream, so what do you think about the Brianna interview?
Hey, I was laying low in the comments. I was just taking it all in because I'm like, I know I'm gonna find one of these hating ass niggas. But I feel like overall these people, Jimmy Dore is big enough to be the boogeyman of the progressive left. He got a big enough platform for distractions and whatnot. And right now they can't, TYT, all these fucking progressives, you know what I'm saying, Kyle Kalinske and whatnot, they can't talk about, they can't combat these wars from the left. So they end up taking up for Ukraine. Then they can't talk about too much. Nothing else, you know what I'm saying? No student loan debt. $15 an hour is still a pie in the sky thing to Democrats. They have nothing else to talk about, so they need another boogeyman. Trump isn't in office. So I think it's all part of the TYT left strategy of finding a boogeyman to keep focus on him until something else happens, until another, you know what I'm saying, pandemic, outbreak, whatever the fuck we can be mad at with the Republicans. But for right now, Jimmy has to be that sacrificial lamb for them in order to, you know, keep this status quo thing going. But I don't take none of these motherfuckers serious. Like I think Cenk is jealous, but he playing his role. He took millions of dollars from the Clinton Foundation, so we know, you know what I'm saying, he's being paid to say these things. But man to man, I can see that he is jealous of Jimmy. He thought Jimmy Dore leaving TYT was gonna collapse him, but yeah, he's doing better than the whole network just by itself. And yeah, I can see a lot of jealousy in that, you know, especially when these capitalists competing with each other on the same damn platform.
Yeah, I hear you. So what I wanted to show you is, I was on the wrong page. So let me go to the right one. I have two YouTube screens up. So anyway, so here's CNN, Rome. So, you know, with all the things that's happening in the world, with all the pain and suffering that's happening right here in the United States, let me mute this. I think it's gonna play something. Oh, I guess not. You would think, it's another thing. If I was an alien from another planet, I would think Donald Trump is the president. Look how many times Trump is mentioned. With all the suffering that's happening. With all the suffering that's happening. But this is why news can't have a profit motive, because then you're putting on news that earns a profit instead of the news that people need to hear. Where is the eviction stuff? Where's the government is not giving you health care during the pandemic? Where's the protest covering? Where's the, you know, homeless in LA? Like nothing. Like none of these stories about any of these things, but they bring it on. This dude was just in jail right here. Let me see, what's his name? I will let it play because it's part of the story or the segment that we're covering. But his Cohen, Michael Cohen, his ex-lawyer, he's out of jail now. Got a nice gig on CNN. How is that? That is white privilege to the freaking zillion million time. Like, how is he here in a nice suit? Rome, if they saw you smoking weed in Texas, man, you'd be in jail for 5 years. Man, it's so ridiculous. This is so ridiculous. But let's listen to why he's on here. This is their whole thing is that they are definitely afraid of Donald Trump. They are definitely afraid of Donald Trump. Not because Donald Trump. That's what I'm saying. Not because Donald Trump is not part of the ruling class and he's just the capitalist as them, and he doesn't care about employees or workers or anything like them. Is that he gives a bad face to imperialism. With all the previous presidents, they can give it a nice it up. You know what I'm saying? They can nice it up, but Trump don't nice it up. So it's hard to kind of mask imperialism with Trump because everybody wants Trump out. So this is really like a branding exercise, but I can't believe, like, I know you don't watch TV, but every wall to wall is Trump. Wall to wall is Trump, bro.
They have nothing else to talk about. If they talk about the failures of the Democratic Party, not only would they, educate a lot of people, which is CNN isn't trying to do. They want people in that seat. They would lose a lot of viewers, lots of viewers. You can't sit here and tell these people Trump is so bad, Trump is so bad. Then you go and report on Joe Biden actively starving children and women.
Right.
People having to sell their organs, having to sell their children in order to get food or shelter for a couple of nights in. If they was to actually talk about these things from the left, then their viewers are gonna feel like assholes. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna feel like they was sold a bad hand from CNN, which they were, but they're not gonna talk about anything else but Trump, because this is what their viewers want to hear anyway. Everybody got that Trump derangement syndrome, and they thinking, oh well, yes, it was bad, but it wasn't this bad until Trump got in office. I'm like, dude, you telling me all those wars that we was in, you know what I'm saying? All the genocide, all the the ethnic cleansing that we did before Trump even thought about running for president. All of that doesn't matter because Trump is president now. Like, I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm not a Trump voter, but you guys make it look like, y'all make like I explained this before. If we was to weigh this shit on the Libra scale of all the Democrats that you voted for through generations you voting, and we weigh that up on a scale with Trump supporters and what Trump has done to America and to Americans and the people across the world, y'all are still on the heavy side. Like, you have way more people. Y'all have killed way more people. And I see, like, even the voters. It was a voter on my Twitter today talking about their vote didn't do anything but stop Trump 2.0. I'm like, hold on. I'm thinking, like, every time this shit happens, right? I said, stop talking about Jimmy Dore. Talk about the brown kids you got killed with your vote. Now, when something good happens, like we get rights for trans people, right? Or we get, something, going good from the Democratic Party. They say, yeah, this is what we do. This is why you vote harder. And I say, hold on. Yeah, this is going on right now, but we just bombed the shit out of Palestinians. Oh, well, we didn't vote for that. That's not what we voted for. Man, get the fuck out of here. Y'all people are psychopaths just like the people you voted for. But the thing is, you too dumb to even know. They notice that you're a serial killer just like them. You put the guns in their hands.
They're saying their vote only matters if he does good stuff, and then all the bad stuff they're not responsible for because that's not the part they voted for.
We didn't vote for that. I voted for trans rights. I voted for Black Lives Matter.
Is that really an adult answer? Is that an adult answer?
No.
To say that, like, you can really pick apart the person, like it's a package. Like, that's not even an adult answer. That's not even an adult answer to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, both. Like, you ask your kid, you ask your daughter, hey, which one do you want? Both. That's not an answer. Like, one or the other. It's not an answer. Both.
Trying to eat their cake. What is it? Yeah. Cake and eat it too, whatever the fuck. Yeah. They trying to just block out these people like they don't have lives. Like, man, CNN doing their job, and everybody else. If you watching this, and if you watch CNN, you should already know. But if you just come across this stream and you see us talking shit about CNN, actually ask yourself, what are you learning from CNN? What have CNN, MSNBC, any of these people taught you? From foreign policy to domestic. You haven't learned anything but January 6th the last couple of months. What the fuck is really going on?
Good Lord.
How is that new?
You know why they do that? Repetitive for the person, because what it starts out is that in the beginning, it's people that's like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna tune back in a couple of days when they're off the story. I'm gonna tune in another week. So they just keep doing the story because eventually those people who keep waiting for the story to go away, they're gonna be like, you know what? I'm looking at some news, and they're literally the entire hour. It's nothing else going on in the world but this investigation. But it's Trump this, Trump lawyer this, and they're so like even if it's not even Trump Foundation lawyer, it's like what? Like, just say the name of the person.
No, we need
lawyer
Trump
name. You gotta have Trump in there. Go ahead. Yeah.
Trump sells. Biden don't sell. You know what I'm saying? Every time we see Biden, he's shaking hands with Ghost or calling somebody fat. You know, Biden don't sell, man. He falling down the fucking stairs. You can't prop him up on Adderall for 5 minutes for him to make a point. Come on, man. Like Trump, anything Trump sells because they done made this man so much of a boogeyman to their audience. Now every time they see that name, they jump. They might be driving and see something with a TR and fucking have PTSD from all the goddamn Trump shit that they've been pushed on. But this is these people, I don't know, man. Shit crazy.
And the thing is, they created it, Rome. They created Trump. Trump, we would never have had, because they want to blame Jill Stein. Why aren't you blaming the press? Because the press is who propped Trump up, gave him millions of dollars of free press because it gave them ratings. See the problem with ratings or advertising money being the problem? Because you gravitated to Trump, pumped him up because you thought it was so ridiculous that Americans could never fall for Donald Trump. They could never do that. So let's just get paid off this advertisement by pumping up Trump, thinking that somebody's gonna emerge. But then Bernie Sanders, Bernie Sanders was still there, and then that was a problem. It's like, hold on.
Bernie Sanders is running. They showed 30 minutes of Trump empty podium. CNN. All of them did it. They showed 30 seconds while Bernie Sanders was doing his speech. So they'd rather just play an empty podium than let you guys hear real news.
It's just a game. It's just a game to them. And then they bring their pundits on and they're talking about it as if we're the gladiators in a sport. And this is the Hunger Games. You know, there's all the rich ruling class who run the TV shows. This is them talking about stuff right in front of us. How are they talking about strategies and bringing on strategies right in front of us and we're the ones they're trying to use these strategies to convince. They're openly, because they're not really talking to us. Yeah. Even when they're talking, especially when they get to the stock market, they're literally not talking to us at all. Not talking to us at all. But let's listen to this clip because you and I can ramble on all day. They should have been here in my garage when you was in LA. Just all day we can ramble on. But anyway, let's listen.
Well, how do you feel about what he did to pleading guilty and he's going to go to prison?
Well, he had no other choice but to plead guilty, as Kara just stated. He was looking at 15 years based upon crimes that I had provided them documentation on that proved without a doubt that he would have been found guilty.
So you were in.
I had.
So he's a rat, and he is floating on white privilege, getting out of prison early, while there's literally during the pandemic prisoners dying.
Yeah,
black and brown indigenous prisoners dying. He's out here in a nice suit on CNN, getting paid, talking about how he was a rat. And you see how I'm saying this is the Hunger Games, Rome. This is the Hunger Games. They're literally celebrity people talking to themselves, and we're just here listening in the background. Mm-hmm. They're not talking to us, man.
The elites.
They're not talking to us. To all the elites, he's like a con. He's like a thug. This guy right here to them, you know, he's the gangbanger in their world, wrong? He's like the tough guy. And look at Trump. This is his lawyer even ratting on him. Look, that's what they think when this is just another white collar criminal, just like them.
Always hated this guy.
Using white privilege. Now he's ratting and talking and boasting about how he's a rat. Let's listen.
Yeah, I heard it. He was guilty. But shit, in his early days, he was taking up for Trump, and then when they hit him with that time, rat's gonna do what a rat gonna do. He gonna, you know what I'm saying? He gonna seal his way out.
That proved without a doubt that he would have been found guilty.
So you were instrumental in providing them evidence that they used against Allen Weisselberg.
Yes, I provided it to them. I provided it to the Southern District of New York. I provided it to the Attorney General. I talked about it, including the House Oversight Committee hearing.
So in that case,
Rome, in Detroit, if any single mothers watching this who need diapers for their baby, going, damn these diapers, ex-Trump org CFO pleaded guilty. That's what's happening in the real world.
Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody, actually, man, you'll be surprised, but a lot of black people really like Trump, man. Like in the real world, like that percentage, it really hits. Like when people say, "Oh, yeah, I like Trump. He was the best president that we ever had." Like these be hood niggas, you know what I'm saying? Niggas who never voted
because Trump has a sort of a braggadocious sort of a like a rapper sort of mentality, like braggadocious. Yeah, I'm this. Yeah, that's what rappers say. Yeah, I'm this. Yeah, I'm the greatest. Yeah, and like, you know what I'm saying? He has. I don't want people to go crazy. He's not using black culture but it's akin. His personality of just being open and like, hey, this is what I think. Nah, fuck that shit. Like, nah, I'm gonna do what I want. Is very there's a lot of black people that can relate to that style of personality, not what he's saying, not the content, but the style of personality.
You know, he braggadocious. He got plenty of women and all kind of, like, come on now.
I don't know about I didn't know about I wasn't saying the women part, but you can add that into the mix if you want to. But let's get back to the video. Let's see if we can get through a little more. I just want to use this video to prove a few things. I mean, there's so many things from white privilege. You're seeing the difference in the prison industrial complex and the sentencing. Now, do you think him and Trump did more damage than a guy who's selling weed on the corner? Who's doing more damage? You get what I'm saying? Right. Who's determining what's a crime? Who determines what's a crime? Rich people. That's why they can steal millions from homeowners and get off scot-free, get bailed out, and those homeowners lose their savings. You see? So who's determining what's a crime? That's what Nick always says. But anyway, let's listen to a little more. We'll move on to the next video.
Do you think that knowing what you know, do you think that 5 months is too little time for whatever his crimes are?
100%. I mean, look, it's not my call. It's obviously the judge's
call. All right. So I didn't know. I haven't watched this. I didn't know he was going to say that. So I'm going to end it there. He's mad. This sucker is out early. And he's mad that somebody else could get only 5 months.
Rat's gonna do what Rat's gonna do.
Rome, do you understand how they're not even talking to us?
Yeah.
There's nothing about that clip is geared toward a black working class person. And it's not
even newsworthy, like,
at all. This is for rich people who have money and don't have to worry about healthcare and none of the sustaining things of life, who just have time in their hands to just talk about stuff, random shit. That's who this is.
We know, like, I'm not about to sit here and play these games with CNN or anybody and act like any president, former or sitting, is going to be held accountable for anything. That is a can of worms that y'all would never be able to put that lid back on, because if we are holding Trump accountable, man, we got to hold Biden accountable. Right?
Yeah.
Then we're gonna hold Obama and Carter, Clintons. All of them have to be held accountable, right? You want to set the standard? Well, hold that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Because all of them are guilty of crimes. And no, it's not just the tan suit, that ugly suit that he wore. No. Have you heard of open market slavery going down in Africa that him and Hillary Clinton started? Right. So if we're going to hold people accountable, let's hold them all accountable. I don't give a fuck about Trump going to prison. I hope they all go to prison. I hope they all rot. But let's be realistic here. You know what I'm saying? If you got any hopes of seeing any president under this system get held accountable, don't hold your fucking breath. Don't hold your breath. They're gonna get as much money, attention from you, and they're gonna have you up and down. Look how they did with the Mueller report. They had you guys thinking Trump was gonna get
exactly.
No,
I was one of them. I was one of them, Rome. But I'm not into the last. But I came out of it right before Mueller came out. So right up until the end, and then that's when I sort of all that stuff I was talking about came to, and I was just like, this is some. I was joining Twitter. I was on there for a while, getting radical. I was like, this is some motherfucking bullshit right here. So I'm trying to put myself in people's shoes and be like, could I be getting fooled by what's happening? Because to me, this feels way more ridiculous.
man.
Way more ridiculous. Now, I want to play. Oops. Oh, this is the wrong clip. Anyway, so I'm going to play some footage, some content of CNN and how they're covering Liz Cheney and freedom and democracy. So let's listen to that. I thought that's not the video. Oh, I'm sorry. It's this one. It's this one right here. Sorry. It's the one right below it.
God damn, you need some different thumbnails. Why do all these people look the same?
You mean all white and then they're 50 to 60s? Is that what you're talking about? No, I'm talking about
CNN Chief National Affairs Correspondent Jeff Zeleny is in Jackson, Wyoming. Jeff, this was a landslide victory for Trump-endorsed Harriet Hageman, and we should note, not so long ago, she was a political ally of Liz Cheney's. Obviously not the case now.
Well, Brianna, definitely that is one of the many evolutions here that we have learned in this Wyoming race. Harriet Hageman actually introduced Liz Cheney when she was first running for Congress back in 2016 as my friend and as a proven conservative. Of course, Liz Cheney won that race the same night that Donald Trump won in 2016. So much has changed inside the Republican Party since then. And we really learned how much with that margin of defeat from Liz Cheney. They knew that they were on the way to losing the primary. But the margin was certainly something that surprised many Cheney supporters. But they do, of course, already turning the page. We're learning this morning exactly what Liz Cheney's next steps are going to be for now. Overnight, her campaign filed papers with the Federal Election Committee to create a leadership PAC. That allows her simply to raise and spend money, traveling across the country to do what she wants to do to take on the former president. She's calling the leadership PAC the Great Task. But she said on the Today Show this morning, just a short time ago, about her plans for 2024.
Are you thinking about running for president? That's a decision that I'm going to make in the coming months, Savannah. I'm not going to make any announcements here this morning, but it is something that I'm thinking about, and I'll make a decision in the coming months.
So when she says the coming months, that means after she leaves her presidency. So for the next 4 months, she is going to be.
So I meant to do something else.
CNN
I'm going to fast forward now to the discussion part. So let me fast forward. I wanted you to get a glimpse of the story. Now look how they talk about this when they get to the panel. Listen to the panel discussion here.
Inside Politics, John King.
Morning.
Good morning. It's so great to have you on this day. Can you just put into context this moment in history where you go from Liz Cheney 2 years ago winning by more than she wins with more than 70% of the vote, and here she gets creamed with a spread of more than 30%, even though she has Democrats going to her side.
She stood up to Trump, and Trump got 70% of the vote in conservative Wyoming, and this is the defining fight in the Republican Party right now. She knew it.
Look at that.
She knew it. As she explained last night, she had to join her leader, Kevin McCarthy, in the House, join the leadership in telling a lie, repeating a lie.
Look at this. This is the part I want you to hear. Supporting a lie. Listen how they defend her.
Right now. She knew it. She knew it. As she explained last night, she had a choice. She had a choice. Join her leader, Kevin McCarthy, in the House, join the leadership in telling a lie, repeating a lie, supporting a lie that somehow Donald Trump was cheated in 2020, or stand up for it. So I'm more fascinated by the next chapter. This was Wyoming is Wyoming. To Jeff's point, yes, hundreds of people, maybe thousands of people, independents and Democrats switch parties to stand with Liz Cheney, but there just aren't enough of them. It's not going to happen in Wyoming.
So the what's next is fascinating. And we just had some news a few minutes ago. Liz Cheney, in an interview with Savannah Guthrie, said she's not about to make an announcement, but in a way she did. She said, I'm considering, I'm deciding right now whether I'm
Why?
What world is we living in where fucking Cheney is being held? If anything, she should be in prison with her fucking father.
Exactly.
I just don't get how people just leave out the millions of people that
the whitewashing of these people, Rome. The whitewashing of these people. And it because this is what I said. I don't think you were on this strong stream what I had with Nick a while ago. Or maybe you were. When they're considering a person good or bad in a racist society, what that person did to people of color, indigenous people, is not a factor in determining whether they're a hero. So it doesn't matter that Dick Cheney did all these things. It doesn't matter that Madeleine Albright is fine with a 500,000 Iraqi kids dying. She said, is it worth it? You believe that?
Man,
like
not one hair of a Middle Eastern or Palestinian kid is worth, you know what I'm saying? One hair of these kids' head is worth more than any of these motherfuckers' lives. Any of them. And this, oh my God, like this is why, you know what I'm saying? Like they try so hard to push these people on us, but a lot of us, believe it or not, Americans are idiots, but a lot of us do remember. You know what I'm saying? Like they was mad at the Midwest from not going to Hillary Clinton, for not voting for Hillary Clinton, but we was living under the NAFTA deal at that time, right?
Yeah, a lot that was not going to happen.
Man, a lot of them people saw her last name who was like, fuck, hell no. I remember Bush. I remember her dad. What can you do? Like, no, we need newer faces. We need at least a new last name in the goddamn game. So even Republicans are rejecting this idea of, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, fuck that. And you already aligned yourself with Democrats. That's where you fucked up at. You know, they trying to push the push the Overton window over to the right. But a lot of people seeing through this shit, thankfully.
Yeah. Now, this is, I think this is on screen. Now, this is MSNBC, because I just want you to see the comparison. It's the same thing. It's Trump, January 6th. Now, let's listen to this short clip here.
Californians have a choice on sport.
Now, this is crazy. It's crazy advertising for these two props. Prop 27 and Prop 28 is casino, gambling, and it's crazy. The relentless. I haven't seen this since Prop 22, which is DoorDash and Lyft restrictions.
I got to get you my password so you can fuck all these capitalists got.
Yeah, I hate these commercials. You should see how I talk to them. Are you seeing I talk to the TV commercial? Yeah. All right. So let's listen. This is January 6th grand jury subpoena White House documents. Now, listen to what they're covering. As you're listening, imagine the things they could be covering to help the people in the pain and suffering that's happening right now.
Good evening. Once again, I'm Stephanie Rule. There is breaking news tonight from the New York Times concerning the Justice Department's investigation into the role Donald Trump and his allies played in the days ahead of the Capitol riot. The Times says prosecutors are focusing on critical Trump White House records and, quote, have issued a grand jury subpoena to the National Archives for all the documents the agency provided to a parallel House Select Committee inquiry, according to a copy of the subpoena obtained by the New York Times. Those materials included records from the files of Mr. Trump's top aides, his daily schedule and phone logs, and a draft text of.
Now let me ask you about another person you may know, a single father or a father and maybe financially he's not going well and he's looking for a job. Is he going wait the job, put the job on hold? Wait a minute. They finding what with Trump? Do you think he's doing that?
Man, my cousin is a single father. Shit, he's so much of a single father. He the only nigga I know who get child support from his baby. He don't give a fuck about none of that. He don't give a fuck about that. Like I just told him, actually, we just had this conversation because he was hoping that we was gonna get a stimulus check because of monkeypox. I was like, no, not on her body.
They learned their lesson with the COVID-19. They learned their lesson with that one.
No, they will never give us no money like that again. Too many people got up.
Yeah, and too many people not back at these low paying jobs.
Yeah.
But the point I'm making with even playing either one of these is that this is what our press, our televised press, and largely our print press too, is trying to convince people of, is trying to talk to people about as people are struggling. So they know that. So who do you think they even think is even watching this? They know, hey, well, the people that's working 60 hours a week, they're not going to be watching this stuff. The people that's working, they're not even, this is not even geared to people like that. Go ahead.
It playing people background. Like, I had to tell my mom and my auntie, like, man, turn this shit off. Like, if y'all want to watch some old news, go watch some of my old shit. Like, don't.
Barbershop. I had to tell my barber every time I go in, I'm like, yeah, y'all gonna have to change this. Like, they don't play it no more. I don't know if it's because they just don't want to watch it no more, but now I go in there, they don't play that shit no more. Yeah, it's like this.
I just had it on because I'm waiting for the weather. I'm like, yeah, I need to hurry up and get my weather shit going because I don't like, man. There's no reason to watch these people. Nothing you learning from these people. Nothing they are talking about benefits or hurts you. You know what I'm saying? So why even fucking watch it? Why even waste your time to even have it playing in your house? Like y'all a burn sage to get the demons out and then turn on CNN. They talking about fucking. Come on, man.
Right. You inviting the spirits right back in is how I would say it to my mom. You're inviting the spirits right back in, Mom. With all this mess,
man.
With all this madness. So now let me now kind of shift. What I want to do is kind of talk about how what they're saying is important. The democracy needs to be saved, right? Now, I want to kind of now look at it from the other perspective, from BIPOC perspective. So let me bring up this video. So they're saying they want to save democracy. So let's talk about what democracy they're saving, because that's really the question, because you want to know is it valuable enough to save? So I'm going to be showing a bunch of videos. So let's show this video here. Now, believe it or not, this is in Florida. Okay, this is Florida. Not too long ago. I'm not going to say a couple of 100 years ago, but this is the early 1900s. This is the United States.
In Beulah.
Catherine and Beulah. What happened to your foot, Jerome?
Dig a nail in out there by the wash house.
So you drove a nail in out by the wash house. What did your mother do for that?
She put some alcohol on it.
Where do you sleep, Jerome?
In this bed.
You have this big bed?
Yes.
What happened? How did you get that hole in that bed there, Jerome?
The rats.
The what?
Rats.
Now, Jerome, you are taking care of Kathy, of Beulah, and Lois.
Yes.
Now, are you going to give them lunch today?
Yes.
What are you going to feed them?
I don't know.
Do you have any food here to give them?
Yes.
I see. What time does your mother come home?
I don't know.
The following day, Aline King, the mother of Jerome, Kathy, Lois, and Beulah, again was picking beans.
Aileen King, I saw your children yesterday at the Okeechobee camp. Why didn't you put them in the nursery?
I don't make enough to pay for it.
How much does it cost to put them in?
85 cents.
85 cents.
That's right.
Aileen, what time did you come out the field this morning?
6 o'clock.
What time will you get home?
About 3:30, 4 o'clock.
6 this morning to 4 o'clock this afternoon.
That's right.
How much did you earn?
$1.
$1?
That's right. $1.
Is that because the beans were of poor quality?
That's right.
Has this happened before?
That's right.
How much will your food cost you today?
About $2.
Aileen, how old are you?
29.
How many children do you have?
14.
How old were you when you first started working in the fields?
8.
You've been working 21 years in the field?
That's right.
Aileen, do you ever think you'll be able to get out of this kind of work?
No, sir.
All the migrants travel fourth class. If there is a privileged class, they ride in their own jalopy, in the best Jode family tradition.
So when you're talking about the good old days of freedom, how far are we going back or not going back? Are we going here? Do we want to go back to these freedom days, these democracy days here?
That's crazy, because I remember my grandma used to talk about the days working on the farms and making less than nothing, you know what I'm saying, before she was adopted and sent up north to New York, and then came to Detroit. But man, it's I still remember that it was just like this. Her story was just like that damn video. And this is not some blast from the past. Like, this is, you know what I'm saying? My mother was born a couple years after that.
Yeah.
You know, there is no democracy, but that is their way of democracy. You know what I'm saying? The white supremacy. This is what they want. You know what I'm saying? They want us working and feeding them, just like the hood. We pay our taxes and go to the suburbs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Our cops live in the suburbs. We paying taxes for the suburbs. Once again, you know, this is what they want. This is their definition of democracy.
Right. We have to understand when they're describing democracy and freedom, they're not talking about us.
Yeah.
That's not who they're talking about.
Especially, like, you gotta watch it, especially when motherfuckers say, "Oh, I'm gonna uphold the Constitution." When people are running for office, or whether they be black or white, when they say shit like that, that should tell you everything that they need to know, that they agree. Everything
you need to know.
They agree with this way of living.
You mean the document that enshrined slavery that was fine? You mean is that what they mean? Like they never say that. They want to. This is the reason why the push for traditionalists, I forget what they call them, about people who look at the Constitution as, you have to look at it through the lens as to how they were thinking then. You mean the racist slave? Why would we do that? Why would we do that? But that's what they're saying. But listen, we have rights, right? We have the Second Amendment right? Right to bear arms. Let's see what happened when the Black Panthers understood that right and actually exercised that right. Let's see democracy.
No one wants to touch the legitimate hunter, but we've got to protect society from nuts with guns.
When bands of armed people with loaded weapons can move about our streets, intimidating and frightening citizens, we should act, and we intend to act. It's my intention to make it a misdemeanor to have loaded rifles and shotguns and weapons in public places.
The police department had went to a local congressman to get a bill written. So Huey called me up and says, we have to go to Sacramento. It was conceived as a media event that the press is always at the California State Capitol.
No one really wanted Huey himself to go, because Huey was kind of a quick-tempered firebrand. Bobby was a little more cautious, and it was like, look, you know, you've been great so far, but you know, you might blow it up there, and you know, bad things could happen. We caravaned to Sacramento. I think there were about 30 of us all together, and most of us had some weapon.
We was on the state capitol on the lawn, and Ronald Reagan, then the governor of the state of California, was there, about 10 feet away from us, holding a press conference with these young, like, parochial school kids. And what happened, as soon as the press seen us, they gravitated from Ronald Reagan over to where the Panthers was.
The Black Panther Party for Self-Defense calls upon the American people in general, and the black people in particular, to take careful note of the racist California legislature, which is now considering legislation aimed at keeping the black people disarmed and powerless. At the very same time, racist police agencies throughout the country are intensifying the terror, brutality, murder, and repression of black people.
The state assembly was in the midst of a heated debate when the young Negroes, armed with loaded rifles, shotguns, and pistols, marched into the Capitol.
Yeah,
and once again, this is back when our dads was running the fucking streets. So,
yeah.
like, dude, this, and what's so crazy is it's happening again. It's happening now, and now they're trying to blame it on white supremacists. Now they're using the white teens to scare you guys' guns out of your hands. Like, no, I don't care who's shooting who. You know what I'm saying? All I know is I'm not getting shot. You know, call me cold-hearted or whatever, but I got a whole family to protect. And I know the government don't like my black ass. So why would I give up my gun? Why would I give up my guns when we have some of the most cruelest police departments in the black communities? We have some of the most cruelest. Why don't we just keep our guns, defend ourselves? Like, they made history with only 30-something people. We're talking about it right now. 30-something people made history. You know what I'm saying? Called out the government for what it is, and it shines to this day because we're still going through it. But why are we still going through it? You know what I'm saying? Because we listening to these liberals, we let them get in our negotiation tables, and we're saying, hey, you guys, we should tone it down. Then we got all these fucking black heads, and they trying to control the narrative. Now we got all these black elites and black faces in high places. Now they're trying to say, oh, this is what the black communities want. No, we never said. Nobody had a fucking. When the last time you was in a black community meeting, and we spoke to one of these black elites for them to go back to master and say, can we please have this, please and thank you? Never.
They're there for a reason, Rome. They're there to say to massa what massa want to hear and cover it up and say that's what the masses want, and it's not. That's their job. And W.E.B. Du Bois writes about it in I forget the name of the book that Nick always quotes, but he talks about that exact class, like the black bourgeoisie, the black capitalist class that's there to sell us out. And right now we have a lot of clergymen that falls into that, i.e. Al Sharpton selling us out. Like, I can't believe some of the stuff he says, and he clearly knows that's not happening. He clearly knows the administration is not doing some of the stuff that actually came out of his mouth. But let's get back to the topic at hand, and that is, what is democracy? If we're trying to save democracy, what are we saving? So this is the story right here of the Houston riot. You notice how they keep using the language riot. It should not be called riot. But the Houston riot of 1917, also known as the Camp Lagoon Mutiny, involving 156 soldiers of the all-black 3rd Platoon, 24th Infantry, a unit of the famed Buffalo Soldier. The incident occurred August 23rd, 1917, lasting roughly 2 hours. Now, this is in August also. This is just pointing out how we did a little segment yesterday on Black August. And it's a lot of things in Black history that has happened in August. Like, we just had Marcus Garver's birthday yesterday. The chairman, Fred Hampton's birthday, I think, is the 28th or something like that. So it's a lot of things that happened this August, just to prove the point that we're making yesterday. So let's listen to what happened in the Houston riot.
The 24th Negro Infantry Regiment was sent here to guard the construction of Camp Logan.
But what we have to keep in mind is that when they do come to Houston, which is a southern city that doesn't want African Americans there armed with weapons, is that they were subject to Jim Crow laws. They were subject to police harassment. So the night of the Houston riots, what has to just is vitally important is that these men had simply had enough. They'd had enough. They were tired of being treated like second-class citizens, and they took action. Quite frankly, they reached the breaking point. We are standing in the Fort Sam Houston Gift Chapel. Now, behind me, this is where, because there was so many soldiers, remember there were 122 who were actually accused, they needed the largest building to carry this out that was on base. And the chapel was not completed at that time. So all the things that you see around you now, obviously were not here. The actual trial took place rather quickly. The Army wanted to get this done because they did not want to create a spectacle. Now, keep in mind that this was the largest court-martial in U.S. Army history. For this trial, the fact that it was carried out what many Americans thought were in secret with the racial tension of the day, you have to remember from a military standpoint that the Army still operated under the Articles of War. Remember, in April of 1917, the United States does go to war with Germany. So when these soldiers carried out their actions in Houston, it was seen as a sign of mutiny. We were at the Fort Sam Houston golf course at the 15th tee, and this area served as the execution area of where 13 members of the 24th Infantry Division African-American soldiers were executed here behind me. And this is the area where the gallows would have been erected. As a direct result of what happened.
Now, I don't know the full story after that because it cuts off the clip. That's the only clip I was able to find. But is that the democracy we want to go back? These soldiers, to complete the story, what happened is they were being treated as second-class citizens, and they, in the midst of war, as they're fighting this war, or part of it at least, and they reached their breaking point of the racism and started shooting people, and then they got court-martialed.
See, this is what I told. I just mutiny.
Go ahead.
I just told a recruiter that I said on the show like a month ago. So whenever the fuck I had talked to him, I was like, I told him if you give me a gun, I'm gonna turn it against my enemy. Like, you don't want me in your army. You don't want me in your military. Like, I would climb a rank just to kill one of y'all.
I hear you. So the point that I'm making, Rome, in the video is that when people say, we're saving democracy, I'm just trying to make clear what democracy are we saving? Because the 24th Infantry, why are they even having to be pushed to the point of having to fight off discrimination and racism when they're part of the armed forces that's going into fighting freedom for this country, willing to be killed?
They sold for you, and you still treat them like shit. You still ain't
right. So what democracy? Where is this fantasy world where democracy existed? And Rome, I tweeted this out. We just got civil rights in the 1960s. The country started in 1776. Mm-hmm. You do the math, that's like 175 plus years of no democracy, right? I'm just saying, like, it's like when they're talking, Rome, they're not talking about our experience with freedom, with this so-called freedom, they're not talking about, they're only talking about white people's experience when they're saying all of these things, because United States is the last place that should be judging anybody on human rights. Anyone. Like, should they be judging on human rights? But this guy right here sums up what we're getting to in this particular point right here.
Let me put it to you this way. We are proud of being black and of our black heritage. But white America does not accept the concept that this is a multiracial society. It has never accepted the fact that there are black people, brown people, yellow people here alongside them. They've always looked upon America as being white. And hence, all of its propaganda is directed at us to convince us that somehow or the other we must become white before they will accept us. Even a publication like Ebony, with a subscription of something like 800,000 Negro subscribers, is written for what we call the low visibility Negro, the light-skinned Negro. With a rare exception, Ebony never features the activities of the black man in this country. It's always that low visibility, the almost white Negro, and how you too can be this way one day if you use some of the skin lighteners that they run in their advertisement. I mean, when it runs ads like Dr. Fred Palmer's skin whiteners, it is denial of the fact that black people exist. That somehow or the other, in order for us to exist, we must resort to using hair straighteners so our hair won't be kinky. That somehow if we could only hide our blackness, we can then become part of this thing called the American melting pot or the Americans.
Yes. I mean, as a side note, what do you think this does to the understanding of yourself?
Man,
what do you think that does to the understanding of yourself?
We see the outcome of this shit, though. Like, this shit is horrible. Oh, God.
Yes. Yeah. So, but anyway, that's just a question to pose. But let's actually, before I play this next clip, let me bring up some comments because we kind of neglected the comments here. But let's bring up some comments here. Happy to be nappy. Eric Brooks, haven't seen you in a while. Democracy is a theory. That is true.
Yeah.
Yes, that's insane. I agree. That last video was pretty. And it's all one segment. We're jumping around. The segment is still when if democracy is in trouble, and then the question is what democracy is in trouble. Because
America has no democracy, man. We got generations of blacks and browns locked up. We fucking just whipped the Haitians at the border. We are finally not. Sorry. America is the grandfathers of Nazis. Like, what democracy? What are you guys talking about? You just don't want your feelings hurt. You just don't want this shit out in the open again. You don't want Trump going out there embarrassing the whites again, right? This is what this is all about.
That's really what this is
because
about.
They have no problem. They have no problem. When Joe Biden first got in office, what he do? He bombed Syria. They said nothing about it. But when Trump did the same thing, right? It's all about not embarrassing the white, the white image, and keeping that subtle white supremacy. They don't have to be, they don't have to be as openly racist as they were back in Jim Crow era. You know what I'm saying?
Trump was like saying, "Hey, I'm tired. Like, we tired of paying the whole bill." Like, he wasn't subtle about it. I'm tired of playing this whole NATO bill. Y'all need to cough up some change, and he actually got them to do it. But that's what they don't want. They want to be doing their imperialism like quietly in the cut, saying the lies in front and not being so open with their imperialism. But
Trump said we need more cops. We need more cops. They're like, man, fuck this guy. But Joe Biden just wrote a new crime bill. Not only is he looking to hire 100,000 new cops, but 100,000 new IRS agents. Nothing from these people.
For what? For what? What purpose? Like, we don't need to go into that, but there's no purpose for more IRS agents. It's literally no. I mean, for what they're going to use them for. You think they need 100,000 more agents to audit the 1%?
No.
Do you think they need 100,000 more, or do they need 100,000 more to audit?
I can get the dude who make fucking videos on Twitter to audit a couple of fucking billionaires. This shit ain't fucking hard. It ain't hard. They just know the powers above them say no. The powers that pay them, it's all a big, you know what I'm saying? It's all a big club. We ain't in it. But everybody getting paid to protect each other. Everybody getting paid from the presidents to the senators. You know, this shit, it ain't gonna stop until we make them stop. Like this, let me grab my money. My weed man about to pull up. I'll be right back.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, so the big lie is that this is a democracy. That's the real big lie. So let's listen. As in going back to the point of, well, what democracy are we saving? What country are we trying to save here? So let's see. Let's listen to this video. I don't want to preface the video.
Mrs. J.D. Milam, And I think this is the most ridiculous thing that has ever happened. The Negroes are just as free as we are.
So let me, because I think maybe I should read that. Reporter interviewing white people about their opinion of a proposed civil rights bill in Albany, Georgia. So this is a proposed civil rights bill. Okay, civil rights. Wouldn't that make them isn't that elevating democracy and freedom, giving somebody civil rights? So let's listen to what white people thought about it at the time. Now, just keep in mind the age range of these white people in this video are the parents of the people who are in Congress now. So like the Mitch McConnells, the Nancy Pelosi's, this is the age range of their parents. But none of these opinions rubbed off on them though.
Mrs. J.D. Milam, and I think this is the most ridiculous thing that has ever happened. The Negroes are just as free as we are. We have the same opportunity to work and to build their part of the town just the same as we have. I just don't understand it and don't approve of it. I'm going to stand up for my right.
Thank you very much. Jim Knight with WALB Television News. We're soliciting the views of Albany people on the Civil Rights Bill. Would you like to give us your views?
Well, I think if they remain peaceful, it would be a lot better than perhaps the violence that was concerned. Well, of course, being a Southerner, I'm not for it at all.
I see.
And I just don't know how it's going to turn out. I hope we don't have any trouble.
We're soliciting opinions on the Civil Rights Bill. Would you like to give us yours?
I'm sorry, but I don't think it's the time right now. I think they have equal rights, though.
Thank you very much. Would you like to express your views?
No, I don't think so.
How about you?
Nope.
What I'd have to say wouldn't be fit to go on air.
Thank you very much.
What do you think he had to say? He said, what I have to say won't be fit to go on air. What could that possibly be in response to civil rights legislation, possible civil rights legislation? You think he's a KKK member?
Oh yeah, definitely. He the fucking wizard of their squad.
Like he's like, I can't even say what I want to say. But the question, why I'm pausing it here, the question I have for the audience and you know how white people talk now? What do you mean? Everybody, why black people got equal rights? Now, ask yourself this question.
My favorite is why you always gotta bring race into it.
No, but what do they say now? Yeah, maybe it was racist in the 60s. Yeah, it was racist in the 60s, but now it's fine. Like, yeah, back with Martin Luther King, yeah, that's all happened. The white people in the 60s was saying it was no racism and it was fine. Wasn't they saying the same thing at that time? Rome?
This is not a racist country.
Yeah, they said the same thing at that time. And you heard several of them say, I think they have equal rights, though.
What the fuck is equal rights if I don't have civil rights as a human?
Right.
I don't like it. I think just trying to put something on us that we don't want.
I see.
We ought to have a national election on it rather than just letting 9 men tell us what we got to do.
And how about you?
I feel the same.
Fine, thank you very much.
I sure don't like it, that's for sure.
I see. Do you feel this will have any effect on your life directly?
I imagine it will.
Thank you very
I'm
much.
afraid we might have niggers to live next door to us.
Thank you.
I'm afraid we might have niggers live next door to us.
We don't want to stay next door to you. Sometimes we just be dropped in your neighborhood from the bank. But trust me.
And that sentiment has not changed. And what redlining, let's speak on redlining real quick. What redlining did was make it seem, or was change it from being racially segregated to economically segregated. The problem is the racial and segregated line overlaps almost exactly. Mm-hmm. And that's what they did. So we are still living, this is something I say all the time. We still live in a very segregated communities with a sprinkles of stuff here and there. with exceptions of stuff here and there, just like it was back then. For example, like Sammy Davis Jr. lived in a white neighborhood, so it was exceptions even back then for certain people. But anyway, let's get to the next video because I don't want to get off on too much of a tangent.
And you see, like this, I love that it's mostly women speaking up, because this proves, you know what I'm saying, the liberal talking point of white women were damsel in distress. We didn't know any better. We couldn't do anything. Our husbands were the racist ones. Like, no. Racism only lives because of the white women who has been teaching this shit to their boys, to their grandbabies. The white women has been the one benefiting the most from white supremacy of white men going out, killing other brown people, taking over nations. They sit back and they bask in.
They do it for certain things. They do it for certain things. Because you don't tell me every mom, every kid can say, yeah, my mom told me this about my dad. Don't tell your dad I told you this. Like going against something he said. It could be something small. Like he said, don't give you candy. Here. You get what I'm saying? So there's things that they decide to go against. So if you can have a grand wizard and he's saying all this stuff in front of your kid, when that grand wizard go to work, you could be telling your son, yeah, you know what your dad is saying really is not what should be happening. And you could be telling them the truth. You could be not allowing that indoctrination. So I agree, Rome. They just kind of sat back. So I agree with that assessment or that analysis that they weren't just sitting back being casual observers, as you can hear here. But let's look at
Emmett Till. Look at Emmett Till.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up that one too because I have another video, a video of his mom being interviewed, but I don't know because it shows his face and I can't really. She blew up a picture of his face and put it up there, and that's the question she's asking and answering in the video is like, why do people? And she was like, I want people to know what they did to my son. This is America. I want people to see because that's terrible. Now.
Oh shit.
How far back do you want to go and judging democracy in the United States? So this is some nice freedom and democracy here. It's so free that you alter your Christian Bible so that slaves, somehow you can have slaves and free in democracy. That's beside the point. But why are you altering documents like this? Let's listen.
Inside Washington's Museum of the Bible, a single volume that is like no other. The so-called Slave Bible. Remarkable not for what's in it, but for what's not.
So about 90% of the Old Testament's been removed and about 50% of the New Testament's been removed. To put it another way, a normal King James Version has 1,189 chapters in it. The Slave Bible has only 232.
Missing are chapters and verses that might have encouraged uprisings. Book of Exodus, redacted. No story of Moses demanding Pharaoh, let my people go. Gone is Galatians, and the verse, there is neither bond nor free, for ye are all one in Christ Jesus. And no Jeremiah, woe unto him that useth his neighbor's service without wages.
What they've left in are verses such as Ephesians 6:5, which is the famous verse, slaves be obedient to your master.
Looking at this Bible, it's hard to tell that anything's been taken out of it.
That's correct. I mean, it looks like a normal book. For many enslaved Africans, this would have been the first time they were exposed to the Bible.
A Bible selectively edited to instill obedience, using religion to underpin the horror of slavery.
When people encounter this exhibit, what lasting impression do you want them to leave with?
But we want to pass the message on that may this never happen again. The Bible itself is a whole book. It's not one that you get to carve up and use this piece or that piece.
The Slave Bible designed to repress rebellion, but it didn't work. Enslaved people in the Caribbean constantly fought against slavery until emancipation.
I think it's very relevant to understand our history, not just American history, but our African American history, our roots and how we got to this point.
A dark chapter in the history of the good book. Jeff Bennett, NBC News.
There you go. Is that how far back in freedom on this soil we want to go? Freedom and democracy? So again, we have to ask ourselves with this January 6th committee stuff, with this vote blue no matter who, or we're going to lose our democracy. They're definitely afraid of Trump. That's what all of this stuff is about. It's trying to get him dirty enough where he can't run. And they're going to try to use this investigation to see if they can possibly go through the court system or the legal system to legally not have him run. If they can get him convicted on this specific espionage or whatever it is charge. So again, whose democracy is in trouble? Are we going back all the way to here? Are we going back to the 1960s? Where is this golden age of democracy and freedom that we're saving when we're talking about January 6th, when we're talking about vote blue no matter who? Like, where are we going to? Let's go to the 80s. You want to go to the 80s with crack cocaine? Watch Snowfall. That's the latest version of that story. Snowfall. If you're older, you know the movie's Colors with Sean Penn was young. That's the bloody version of the same era. So when do you want to go? You want to go back to where black soldiers were promised something when they came back and never got it? Like, I'm just curious to when is this time? Because white America can't point to a time of this golden age of democracy and freedom that included anybody outside of white people. I'm just asking.
All they're gonna do is try to gaslight you and say, "Well, it was bad, but now it's better." Like, no, there are more slaves on Earth today than there ever was back in the fucking 60s, 70s. Like, there are more slaves. So, what democracy? Where?
Why do we only get the "it's better" freedom? Why don't you take the "it's better" freedom and give me your full freedom and democracy? You get what I'm saying? Like, what does that mean? Like, it's better. Why do I only get it in "it's better" than before? Freedom, democracy, liberty, like what some conservatives like to use the liberty word a lot. Like, why do we get the amended version? Weak. Anyway, let's get to
class citizens.
Exactly. So, in further proving this point, I want to bring up. So we had, and I know a lot of people have seen this next clip I'm going to be bringing up of Norwood Hastings. You about to check out?
No.
Oh, I thought you said all right or something. Norwood Hastings, right here. We saw a lot of women in the previous video talking about what they thought about Negroes. Just hearing that pronunciation of it takes me back to southern stories from older family members using that way. So this is Norwood Hastings being interviewed about was it necessary to have slavery? Like, was it a necessary thing? So let's listen to Norwood Hastings talk about it. Hang on a second here. Is it gonna play? Okay, there we go. All right, so let's listen to Norwood Hastings, and then we'll talk about it on the other side of the video.
Slavery was immoral.
No, I don't. Because when a slave came from Africa, he couldn't speak the language. He was totally untrained to do any job at all that would fit in with the civilization.
Rome, I didn't know we came to Africa. I didn't know, like, we booked flights and stuff. Like, we came to Africa. You notice the description, the verbiage, the word he's using to describe how we got here.
When a slave came from Africa, he couldn't speak the language. He was totally untrained to do any.
I see him like an animal. I'm a true like
would fit in with the civilization. Someone had to take care of him. Someone had to take care of him 24 hours a day, and it's pretty hard to do that unless you owned a person. So I think slavery just had to be in those early days.
Mr. Hasty, what was life like in those early days?
As far as the colored people were concerned, I feel that they were a good bit happier than they are now. They had less in the way of material things. But I can remember back in their 20s, when I was a small boy, they were always singing at their work. They had a great sense of humor. Now today, they just don't seem to care much about that as they used to. And I think
so we making the best out of being slaves. We got our Negro spirituals, and he see that as us being happy and
right.
Like these people
like
have lost their fucking mind.
Singing hymns to yourself to get your mind off of the terrible condition you're being forced to live through. That's happy to them.
And we had we had studies about people jonesing each other during slavery, how where cooking came from. Basically, how we sit here, we can just talk about each other. Like I talk about people with hairlines, like, oh boy, hairline right here kind of fucked up. You know what I'm saying? But this goes back to slavery. We had these things in our tribes and our people, amongst our people, because it helped us get through the fucking times. You weren't thinking about the lashings and the beatings, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe you did, and your boy was like, man, Master gonna beat your ass today. Like, man, ain't your hair. But this, it goes back from us. It's a coping mechanism, basically. You know, but this is not us. That wasn't us being happy or being, oh, we don't have any burdens of the world and we're just slaves and we don't have to think about fucking buying a house and shit like that. I just got to worry about getting raped and getting my children taken from me, getting hung anytime you feel like it. Fuck, man, I hope he's still alive because I'll shoot his dumb ass.
I doubt it because he was in his 50s or 60s here, and this has to be like 50 years old.
Between the races.
I think there's a refusal to accept responsibility. I think there's a lack of motivation. I've tried here to promote people to foremen, superintendents, but they just refuse to do it. They just don't want the responsibility. They don't worry like the white man. If they have troubles, they go to sleep and wake up the next morning, and that trouble is over.
Is it possible?
So we gonna go to sleep tonight, Rome, and the police brutality problem, it will be over, according to this guy. Police brutality, you just gotta go to sleep. That's all. You just gotta go to sleep to get rid of police brutality. It just disappears. Let's listen. It's like 20 seconds more. Let's listen. 40 seconds more.
White people have something to do with the lack of ability for blacks to assimilate into this culture?
Absolutely. The white man has certainly been prejudiced and to quite an extent unfair. But customs die awful hard. It takes a long time, and everyone knew years ago that the Negro would have to be given equality. But in the South, knowing Negroes as we
there's that pronunciation, niggas. That's how you know deep South. It's the niggas pronunciation. That's how you know. But just another display of what part or what time in American history are we going back? Are we saving democracy? What part is what I'm trying to identify so that we can see how freedom and democracy was for everybody, not just white people. Now, so let's go to the 1960s. So there's plenty of people that's still alive that's born in the 1960s. So if you're born even in 1961, you're 60 some odd years old, right? 63 or something like that, right? So these people are still alive. So let's, not the people who are killed in this video, but that's not what I'm talking about. But I'm saying the people that are you see walking around, they could be still alive. They could be some. If you're 20 years old, you could be 83 now. So let's listen to the video. The point I'm saying is this is not long ago.
Segregation in interstate travel. The plan is for black and white volunteers to ride together on buses. Journeys that CORE calls freedom rides. The riders commit themselves to nonviolence,
I want you to think it over very carefully, and if you
believing that challenging segregation peacefully will force the authorities to act.
we would be very happy to have you embark upon this dangerous, worthwhile, significant mission.
CORE prepares the riders for the racial hatred they can expect.
Hey, you, nigga. You hear what that man said? You hear what that man said? You get back there. Get back there. Get back. Excuse me. Hey. Come on.
Get back.
On May 4th, 1961, James Farmer leads 13 people, black and white, onto buses in Washington, D.C., bound for New Orleans.
I wish I could just follow one up on a fucking bus.
10 days later, the bus enters Alabama, home to the largest KKK organization in America. They know the riders are coming.
Those signs, did that sign say freedom this way? Oh no, that said colored. I thought it said democracy this way. Does that say that wrong? Does it say democracy this way, or it says colored people? Right? So let's continue.
They know the riders are coming. In Anniston, the Klan surrounds the bus, slashing its tires. Photographer Joe Postolione captures these images. The crippled Greyhound tries to escape, but a few miles out of town, the Klan surrounds and firebombs it, with the riders still inside. The Freedom Riders do escape the bus, only to be beaten by the Klan. Joe's photos bring the Freedom Rides to international attention.
That was a story of freedom and democracy there in the United States, Rome.
And see, they want me to give up my gun so KKK members can come in and firebomb our fucking buses, and I won't have no way to fucking protect our people. This shit is fucked up. This shit is fucked up, you know. And rest in peace to everybody on that bus. But man, it goes to show when you out there fighting, there's no rules. There's no rules. You just best to be prepared for everything, for anything, right? Because the government don't have to kill you. They put bugs in random people's ears. They have their, you know what I'm saying, they let their citizens go out and be racist and let them get guns, knowing that they're openly racist on Facebook, Twitter, whatever the fuck the day of age was. They know how these people work. They arm them and they kill you. They don't need, like, you know what I'm saying? But when you out there fighting,
if having a domestic violence charge as a pass can prevent you from getting a weapon, why can't being a racist prevent you from getting a weapon when you see that what they've done? Why don't we have background checks to say if you're a racist, you can't have a gun?
Shit.
Don't racists go up into churches? Don't racists go up in churches and kill people?
Yep.
Don't they do
grocery
that?
Stores, schools.
Yeah. So let's listen to Martin Luther King describe America. Now, is this the democracy and freedom that's in trouble? That why we have to vote blue no matter who? Is this the democracy and freedom you're talking about?
I think America must see that riots do not develop out of thin air. certain conditions continue to exist in our society, which
Can you
must
turn the
be
video up a little bit, or
condemned as vigorously as we condemn
this. Oh yeah, I can actually. I don't think it's really loud, but I can. It's at volume 7. I can go to 10. I think, yeah. So I'm gonna start it over just so you can hear it better.
I think America must see that riots do not develop out of thin air. Certain conditions continue to exist in our society, which must be condemned as vigorously as we condemn riots. In the final analysis, a riot is the language of the unheard. What is it that America has failed to hear? It has failed to hear that the plight of the Negro poor has worsened over the last few years. It has failed to hear that the promises of freedom and justice have not been met.
So this video is showing current footage. Is this freedom? Is your horse running a person over? Is this freedom for her? At a protest. She's literally, what are these people doing that she deserves that? She's standing there with the sign. What are they doing?
Standing up for their rights.
This is democracy. Is this the democracy we're trying to save?
Democracy running right over you.
The promises of freedom and justice have not been met. It has failed to hear that large segments of white society are more concerned about tranquility and the status quo than about justice, equality, and humanity. And so in a real sense, our nation's summers of riots are caused by our nation's winters of delay. And as long as America postpones justice, we stand in the position of having these recurrences of violence and riots over and over again. Social justice and progress are the absolute guarantors of riot prevention.
Yeah, so I wanted to show this video because I've been showing historical videos. So people might be somebody in the audience, hey, this is all old, but it's gotten better. Really? This video is showing, mimicking how, look what's happened in the past and how it's the same shit still happening. So is this the freedom and democracy we're trying to save? This police state that's doing this stuff just got an increase. Again. So, again, what freedom and democracy are we talking about?
My feelings as a white person in America. My feelings. That's what matters the most. My image and my feelings. Like I feel for your people. I really do. But it's always a but to this shit. Why is she calling me? She know I'm on the show.
Yeah, no, but that's a beautiful segue. I didn't know you were going to say that, and you didn't know I was about to pull this video up. But this is David Sirota, and this is a reason why we go hard at people like David Sirota, is because the democracy you're describing that we want to have through the Democratic Party is not one that exists for anybody but white people or rich people.
Oh,
it doesn't exist for
man.
us. So this is why we go ham at people like this. So let's listen to what David Sirota says in this video right here.
And let's use AOC as an example. Okay, if AOC does not, and the squad does not use their leverage to force a floor vote or try to force a floor vote, I'm not prepared to say that means that they don't believe in Medicare for all or that they're sellouts. I'm not prepared to. The evidence is overwhelmingly against that. That they may disagree with the tactic, and I may disagree with them for their position on the tactic on not forcing a Medicare for all vote. But I'm not willing to say, nor do I believe that that means that they don't want to pass Medicare for all or aren't willing to fight as hard as possible for Medicare for all. It could just.
If David Sirota didn't have a paid off house, if David Sirota didn't have vacation time, if David Sirota had to work 60 hours a week, didn't have a Oscar
health insurance,
you think,
or healthcare,
right,
I should
health
say.
insurance. Do you think he would be having the same opinion that he have, that we can't push our politicians this far? We can't have this threshold of, if they're not willing to go this, what they call extreme. I don't even think this is an extreme, but go this extreme, and they're not willing to do that. Really? They have health care. So what about the people who don't have health care? We're just telling them to just keep waiting? That's what you're saying?
Because he can wait it out.
That's what I'm saying.
He got millions of dollars.
So
you know what I'm saying? You can tell his house nice just by looking at the fucking background.
Right. So let me make the connection. So when they say, this is why he's fine with also coming on this line. Our democracy in trouble. Whose democracy are you talking about? Because I don't hear you talking about fixing the democracy for anybody but white people. I don't. Because the changes you want to do aren't changes enough, or aren't far enough that's going to help the people at the very bottom. It's simply not. So trying to get people to buy into the Democratic Party and this idea of vote blue no matter who, because democracy is in trouble. Whose democracy is in trouble? Your white comfort is going to be in trouble because you're going to have an ugly face of your imperialist empire named Trump? Go ahead, Ron.
And it's not even that. You know, not only is their democracy is falling, their empire is falling. Like, this is what it's all about. And it's a big ass distraction, right? There's all this Trump shit. I feel like it's a big ass distraction because CNN could be reporting on the petrodollar falling. It could be reporting on, you know, Russia basically taking over and China becoming basically, you know, the grandfather for all these damn countries all over the world. But no, they don't even talk about inflation under the Democratic Party. You know, so it's all a big ass distraction to keep you guys, keep your ears and your eyes off of what's really going on. Like, y'all think inflation is bad now? No, y'all haven't seen shit. Like when the petrodollar really falls and it sticks, man. I was just telling somebody, like, we're gonna be treating American dollars like how we treat Canadian quarters in a minute.
Right. And people don't understand. They think Americans, because they've been propagandized, to think that Americans' way of life is based on American freedom and capitalism. They don't understand it's propped up by the petrodollar. They don't make that connection because that's not how they've been propagandized.
Somebody said that's in the next 30 years. Look, the shit that we were just talking about, that was 30 years ago. My son probably gonna be sitting here talking about this shit 30 years from now, talking about, look, my dad predicted this. But no, for real, we're gonna be hit. You know what I'm saying? And they're trying to hold on to the last bit of power that they had, but you know what I'm saying? Hey, it's all a distraction to keep you guys, like, they're gonna talk about Trump until they fucking face blue, until your face red, and they won't even give a fuck because you're still gonna watch it. And you're still gonna get paid.
Sorry, Ron. So what I want to bring up next is another reason. So I was watching this too. Let me share something else. I was watching this too, and this was also part of why I kind of came up with this discussion. Chris Hayes, I told you. So I'm gonna actually show you one of the videos I was watching. So Chris Hayes, I went to him and I was like, okay, Chris Hayes has to be doing something different. He's the so-called real progressive still on TV, right? So Chris Hayes, so let's listen to Chris, probably the first 2 or 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes of Chris Hayes' show last night. Ooh. I think it's gonna.
Thanks for staying up late with us. I'll see you at the end of tomorrow.
Tonight on All In.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said she fears for our very democracy if Republicans win in November. Do you?
This is what I'm saying. What democracy? Sorry. There you go.
The fate of democracy and the Republican Party in the wake of Liz Cheney's loss.
I think we have to make sure that we are fighting against every single election denier. The election deniers right now are Republicans.
Then, what did Rudy Giuliani tell a Fulton County grand jury?
Do you believe President Trump is the ultimate target of this investigation?
And
bro, they have nothing else to run. They have nothing else to run on, but they like, fuck it, we fucked Medicare for all, we fucked this, we fucked that. Fuck it, democracy, just throw it all in. I'm all in.
That's all they got. That's all they got. So let me fast forward through some of this intro.
Shit.
Okay, yeah, let's go right here. So they're connecting this democracy to the Liz Cheney story. So let's listen.
At-large congressional seat, Congresswoman Liz Cheney, vice chair. The January 6th committee was, well, annihilated as we expected. She lost by a resounding 37 points, 28.9% to 66.3. Wyoming voters overwhelmingly rebuked Cheney, who, of course, stood up to Donald Trump after his insurrection, voting to impeach him and then helping to lead the committee investigating his actions. Now, Liz Cheney has earned a lot of praise, especially in liberal circles, for taking a stand against Trump and his attempt to end America's constitutional republic. Fellow January 6th committee member, Congressman Jamie Raskin, has spoken.
You see how he got that in there? To end our
They all want the same thing. What is he talking about? They all want the same damn things, man. And they ain't doing nothing but flipping people from the same, different people from the same fucking parties. 1 minute they hate Liz,
that's all they're doing.
Next minute they love her. Like, what the fuck?
And what's crazy, they don't change their views. They just are on the other side. Now, let's say this. What they're saying is Liz Cheney could be running for president. What they're saying is Liz Cheney is bucking Trump and standing up for democracy. Now, let me go back to a point I said earlier. Now, Liz Cheney voted against the Voting Rights Act. Do you know that? So it's fine to build Liz Cheney up as a hero of democracy, even though she's voting against voting rights. You see the dynamic of how when you're determining what's a hero, it has nothing to do with how you treat people of color.
But
it has no bearing at all.
But Democrats already feel like that because they already punching to the left. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get the Greens and third parties kicked off of the ballots, openly admitting to it and openly just don't even give a fuck about it. And then they call it democracy. Oh, we're trying to save democracy. Kick the Greens off the ballot. How could you put those two words in the same sentence? We're trying to save democracy, so kick these people off the ballot. What?
It's gibberish. It's nonsense that they think we're that stupid that we're just gonna fall for that nonsense. But let's listen a little more to the selling that democracy could end. Whose democracy are you talking about?
Incredibly fondly about her, recently telling the New Republic that she has acted with great honesty to confront the lies of the Trump machinery. Raskin also said about his unlikely friend, quote, she will follow Donald Trump to the gates of hell if she needs to make sure that justice is done and that truth is known.
God.
And there's no doubt Liz Cheney has made career political sacrifices on behalf of American democracy. That was evident last night, almost as soon as polls closed.
She lost
and
on
what
behalf.
She has done
she lost on behalf of American democracy. She lost on behalf of the American democracy. Who's democracy? You see how she can vote against voting rights, a voting rights bill that they said is for black people. And now I'm against it, but she voted against something that the Democratic establishment and black Democrats think is a good thing. So it's okay to vote against that, but as long as she stands up against Trump, she's a hero, and we should support her. She probably ends up with the Forward Party, and maybe she'll run under the Forward Party with Andrew Yang, I guess.
Is praiseworthy and important. But it's also the case that, Cheney's a bone-deep reactionary, a conservative to her core, and also, crucially, a partisan Republican. None of that's changed. And as strange as it may seem, she has, I think, taken this course of action in an attempt to save the Republican Party. This morning on the Today Show, Liz Cheney laid out her case.
Look, I think the Republican Party today is in very bad shape, and I think that we have a tremendous amount of work to do. I think it could take several election cycles, but the country has got to have a.
Why do you think they're doing this, Ron? Why do you think the Democrats and certain Republicans in the media is doing this? This Republican Party have lost their way, and they need, like, why are they doing it as if this is not who they are?
And look, these voters are such idiots, dude. They just did the same shit with Joe Manchin. They just did this shit with Joe Manchin. Look what Joe Manchin is doing now. Basically holding back all the bills that was so important, right? Getting on everybody's nerve. He only worked with him on one bill. Now he's sucking his fucking dick again. You know? And this is how she's going to come in. She's going to be like, yeah, I'm a Democrat, blah, 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 and vote everything Republican.
Right. And it doesn't matter. I mean, look at, and another example is, look at MSNBC. They're acting like that's the same station when the top shows on that station are both Republicans. You're talking about Morning Joe and Nicole Wallace. They have the two prime spots, and they're both Republicans. So they're saying ideology don't matter. We're just teaming up.
Yep.
Ideology don't matter. That's what unity is. That's not solidarity. Yeah. So let me put this back in here so we can see a little more of this bullshitting that she does here.
A Republican Party that's actually based on substance, based on principles, based on a belief in limited government and low taxes and a strong national defense, a belief that the family has got to be the center.
Strong government, low taxes, and a strong national defense. Doesn't that mean war? That's poor? That's war. Strong national defense means war. A strong government. That's code language.
Community and of our lives, and those are the principles I believe in. That's what the party used to stand for, and we've got to get the party back to that.
Now, I will leave aside my own significant quibbles with the definition of what the party used to stand for. You'll notice, just to make one observation, she omitted the torture program, the war crimes that were championed by her father and endorsed by her from that list. But
you see that 5 seconds of where he said that little snippet. Now he's a progressive. You're a progressive. All the other stuff, he's right in line with everything else. But because he's willing to say that particular part, that makes him the progressive in his circles.
Oh my God.
The key point here is that in her own understanding, Congresswoman Cheney is standing up to Donald Trump, not just for the sake of American democracy, but for the sake of the institutional vitality and indeed survival of the Republican Party itself. And I think she is right on this. And I think it's underappreciated how right she is by everyone. Because here's the thing. A conservative party in a two-party liberal democracy like ours, which is what the Republican Party is and has been, cannot continue to thrive or even exist if the MAGA authoritarian cult takes over. There is no
So they're saying they want to fix it so that Republicans can win some elections. Is that what they're trying to say? That's what it sounds like he says. Well,
like
MAGA is taking over and Trump is going to about to whoop their ass in an election in 2024. Yeah. Whoever they put up, it really don't even matter who they put up. The only thing they can do is do a constitutional amendment to where President Obama can run again, and that might be their only possible chance of Trump winning.
Man, they're sending this country into a fucking frenzy. Because a lot of people don't want Obama back in. Like, man.
No, like me. Man. Like my vote, he wouldn't have again. I'm just pretty sure Nick votes would not be with them again. So that's why I said that's the only possible chance. I'm not even saying Obama could beat him. I'm just saying that's the only possible chance. But what they're trying to make it seem like, don't go down this route, MAGA. Don't let the Republican Party go down the route of MAGA because you're never going to win elections again. But they're winning elections, Rome. They're winning elections, Rome. So what are they talking about? or maybe they're trying to hedge their bets for these November elections. Maybe they're seeing that these Republicans are gonna win, and they're trying to do anything to get people enthusiastic to come out and vote, other than policy. That's really what they're trying to do. I think I'm gonna go away from this one here.
But the Democrats fucked it up for everybody. We know they're gonna get swept. We know Biden, more likely, if he run again, he's gonna get swept because he messed it up. They messed it up for everybody. They didn't deliver anything for them to really run on. So now they like, all right, well, you think that we're bad. You don't want these guys because they just gonna take it off. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, that's all you have for me.
What so I think we've covered that segment pretty good. Maybe for the last 15 minutes, let's talk about some of the other things that's happening. First off, like this stream, you don't see Rome and I on the stream together too often, so let's make sure we get as many likes as we can on here. Let's get as many people watching. Also, go back and watch some of our streams we've been doing lately. The Nina Turner stream, we did one last night. It was part of a live stream yesterday, but we clipped it as a separate clip so that people don't have to watch the whole stream. But we're at 282 likes. Can we get to 300 or maybe 325 and get our likes up? Also, subscribe to our Substack so you get notifications. Like for this stream, we sent out through our Substack, and you just get an email. Hey, this is the clip. This is the link to the stream. So sign up for that. The other thing is, hold on, it's down here at the bottom. Activist Summit. We're going to be trying to put that together. If you're an activist, doesn't matter what, we're looking for climate activists. We're looking for Black activists. We're looking for, unhoused activists. We're looking for immigration activists, even animal activists, any type of activists.
Anybody but Peter.
Work. Yeah. Email us if you want to join that. We're just going to bring activists on and talk about joining together, talk about your activism, talk about your organization, what type of activism you're doing, shout you out, all of that type of thing. And then also talk about just coming together. I want to try to get like 30, 40 different activist groups on the summit, maybe have like 10 each day of the summit if we do 3-day summit again, and then just have different groups on. And that can be the starting point of something larger. But anyway, email us in the subject line, put Activist Summit. Email us, put Activist Summit if you're an activist in any of the 50 states. It doesn't matter which one. And then also, did I have the other one? I don't have it here. Oh, yeah, right here. Also, we're going to be launching chapters in all the member states. But I'm getting a head start. This is not a chapter technically. This is just the LA community outreach part that I'm doing. Sort of like our tour for the poor in LA, I guess you can say. But email us if you're interested. If you're in Los Angeles or a surrounding county and you're able to, you got a car, you got time on a weekend to help, serve the community, email us, and in the subject line put LARBN, and put that in there. And also I'll throw up your comments. What's going on with you, Rome? I heard you say you're doing something for Tour for the Poor in the next couple of days. Are you doing something today? You're raising money for something?
Oh shit. I ain't even I'm so lazy. I forgot to fucking fundraise for it. But I damn near got like half of it covered because somebody's gonna be helping me fund. We're gonna get at least 400. I'm gonna try to get 800 backpacks. It's gonna be a back to school giveaway. We're gonna have snacks.
Oh, okay.
And, stuff like that. I'm trying to get a gaming trailer out there, probably a bounce house for the children. They all can come out and just have a good time. We're gonna have a whole bunch of communist flags waving. Have some people doing speeches. Trying to brainwash some children into socialism. That's all it's really about. But it's gonna be nice. The way I'm looking at it right now, but everything will be confirmed next Sunday, Monday. So I'm looking for it to be I'm looking forward to excuse me, I'm high. September 12th or the 15th. I know school already started, so I'm gonna call it late to school giveaway. So we're gonna be out there, and I got a march that same month going on in Detroit. We're gonna be marching with a whole bunch of communists. You know, we are dressed in red. We got our flags. We got our guns. You know, showing solidarity. This is just a march against, you know, capitalism as a whole. It's a march for freedom, all freedom, reproductive. You know what I'm saying? Black rights, gun rights, whatever your right is, whatever your fight is, you should come out and speak it. You know what I'm saying? March with us, show some solidarity in the D, and let these motherfuckers know that, you know what I'm saying, communism, we haven't went anywhere. You know, we still stand strong. You know, we just a little bit of separate. We just separated right now, but that was their goal, was to separate us, and that's why they don't build public transportation. No, I'm playing, but on a real. But we're gonna be out there showing love. There's gonna be a giveaway. More than likely, we're gonna be helping the homeless while we're out there. I would never put 100 people on the street, and we won't be feeding people. So we will be connecting with different communities, homeless shelters. You know what I'm saying? Getting to know these people that you're gonna be protecting, because this is gonna be the start of the care party. You know, and everybody can sign up if you want to sign up for the care party. You can in person. There will be background checks on everybody. Make sure that you're not fed, you're crazy, you know what I'm saying? Just sitting there beating on motherfuckers. But it's gonna be a nice time. You should come out.
Okay, and then this one says, "I'd love to help you guys start something in West Virginia." I'm assuming that means West Virginia. RBN's videos, clips, and messages has helped me change a lot of hearts and minds in my community. Yeah, so how we're envisioning it is that we want to start the chapters in cities that we're members of, so we can run the chapter, because we know how we want to run chapters before we start to think of doing any other. So right now, that's where we're going to start. But if we ever do branch off, we have to think of, you know, how the criteria for branching off, how many people you would have to start a chapter, to get a chapter started, and that type of thing. So thank you for the super chat. You can continue, Rome, if you weren't finished. But I can throw some comments up. People were asking
what city
here. Let's see.
I'm in Detroit. CJ gonna be in
what's up, Robin? And Robin, it hasn't been announced yet, but because we're waiting to get more information with the website and all that stuff, and kind of do everything at the same time. But Robin will be officially our graphic designer, or one of our graphic designers. So thank you, Robin, again. But yes, backpacks to school. That's what Rome will be. How many backpacks you said you're looking to get?
I'm getting 400, but I'm hoping to get 800. So just trying to find some loopholes, you know me.
You buying them, or somebody donate them, or both, or how you getting some?
Somebody is donating them to me to give them away. So,
and where do you go? Where do you go to give them away? Like where you go to specifically to schools, or you go before school starts and you go to like neighborhoods, like projects?
No, I actually just got the picture from Robin. Like, I'm gonna host this on my property.
Oh, so let me take that off so you can put that up there. Go to your left, the other way. That right there. There we go. That way.
Get it in focus. Shit.
No, I can see it. I see it says Unity or something like that. I mean, it's small. I can't see it big, but yeah.
We're gonna I'm gonna throw this on my property, because I'm trying to get a gaming trailer out there, bounce house, you know, a whole bunch of pizza, just have something good for the kids. You know, when they get off of school, they can come and get a new backpack, get some snacks, and some communist propaganda.
Yes, sir.
And I really push it. It like it's some groups. It's some mom and some mom swap groups on Facebook. It's like you know what I'm saying, some garage sales groups on Facebook, Marketplace and stuff like that. You can just post it like, hey, I'm giving away blah blah. And motherfuckers be like, yeah, right. Be like, yeah, come right here and I'll be right there giving away. Motherfuckers pull up like, oh shit. So yeah.
For sure. Let me. Is this the right? Oh no, this is not the right one. So let me share something else real quick. So I forgot to share this, and then we're getting back to some more comments. As in the beginning of the conversation, this is the tweet that made me say, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do this.
I'm sure I'm older than Pop Smoke. I'm sure I'm older than Pop Smoke.
You're what?
My nephew said that shit. My nephew just said this.
Oh.
I'm like, I'm sure I'm older than him. He's probably sound like me. He just more famous.
So this is my tweet. White America, we're on the verge of losing our democracy. Black, brown, and indigenous people. What democracy? And had lots of reaction to the. So let's maybe read a couple of it. So this is one. So just think of what I said and what they're responding to. Let me read it again so you know what people are responding to. White America says we're on the verge of losing our democracy. Black, brown, and indigenous people say, what democracy? And that is what people are responding to. So not even close is what I'm saying. This is not a democracy. And you can see, I love the picture.
Oh, yeah.
This is not a democracy. That's literally what they're doing to Joe Biden. They're just holding his hand and leading him in different places. And then you got Joe Manchin and Senate. But this I love this graphic right here. Thank you.
And she do be tacky as hell though, man. I'd be like
and then let's see this one. Literally founded by a corporation, the Virginia Company, in order to make rich people richer off stolen land and stolen lives. Mm-hmm. So that's their response to the tweet. Is this a democracy? Now, we may see some different opinions here, just to give you a heads up, because I do have some Trump supporters that follow me, or conservatives that follow me. Me, literally the other day, make America great my ass. When has this country been great? Massive military budget. We can't even win a fucking war without the UN carrying our asses. So tell me, how the hell is this country great? When do you say it was great? Because I disagree. And then here's a cool little meme. That's Michelle Obama's face. That's Charlie Brown. We've got to vote like the future of our democracy depends on it. And that's what I'm saying. What democracy? We're going back to being brutalized by the police? Bro,
right.
Is that what we're doing?
Even if like, I like this play on words, man, because
let me go back to it.
And they like vote like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
But they ain't saying that it is. Even if
you mean metaphors? Yeah, you're saying there's metaphor like in rap. yeah. So like, they're not saying your democracy depends on it. They're saying vote like it does. They're not saying it is depend on it.
Because they still depend on these parties, and you guys were just clapping and just, you know what I'm saying, applauding your fucking party for being bipartisan and passing a fucking infrastructure bill for the oil companies for some reason. But you guys were just clapping because they was bipartisan. Left wing, right wing, same bird, motherfucker. How the fuck they gonna fly with one wing? It doesn't work like that.
You Overton window is so far right in the U.S. You have to be a communist to budge left. You hear what he said? So you have to look at it in the framing. This is why they can say Nancy Pelosi is a progressive. If we're a far right country and Nancy Pelosi is just center, you see how she's center, but she's to the left of center right. This is how they're being able to say these things, like calling them that when we're talking about the Overton window. But let's read this comment, this reply. This is from Monica, Black Bernie babe. Like, we're still colonizing Yeah, colonizing Hawaii, Puerto Rico, and Guam, which some say don't even have electoral electorates, but sure democracy. That is a great point. Puerto Rico and Guam, they're territories. That means we've colonized them. And they don't have any voting rights. We have a
keep telling white people stop going there. They like, huh? Don't go there? Okay, we're gonna go there. Because they know they're gonna take advantage of these times of these people being down. They, you know what I'm saying? The markets is down in that city, in that country and whatnot. They take their millions of dollars and become kings and queens in that fucking country.
Here are some quick comments. I'm sorry, the majority of us are fucking idiots. And then this one, I feel this in my soul. They felt that tweet that I put in their soul.
I'm so high, I almost passed you the blunt.
And then we have something in Spanish. I would hope if anybody is in the comments and you can read Spanish, maybe you can translate this and I'll put it up. So just put translation equal, and then if you can translate this, I'll put that up. You see JB in the comments?
Oh no, here you go.
Oh, here it goes. You can put it up. Disenfranchised to white people. I'm gonna play this little snippet. This is from Z. Z is part of he was part of Populist Voice, but they spun off with the People's Voice. I'm looking at a different screen. So let's look at this little clip he had. It's not a clip, it's a GIF, but it's funny. But this is I guess this is what they consider. Can you see that movie? I think you can see it. Anyway, let's move to the next comment. Actually, let me read some of these quote comments. Maybe I can read some of those. Minorities fared better in gaining jobs and increased real wages from 2016 to 2020. I'm assuming that's what it means. Than any previous time. Black unemployment during those years was at its lowest ever. Those are facts. Not
what the fuck got to do with democracy?
Not the drivel the left is peddling in order to shift the conversation. Right. I was just gonna say that, like, none of this has anything to do. And this thing here he's talking about, because he's saying this as if we haven't already covered all this stuff. Like, we've already covered and showed the receipts how black wealth has gone down, like black home ownership has gone down since the civil rights era. So it's absurd. So, but we still read comments that are to the contrary of our opinion, because we're confident in our opinion and in what we're saying. In current political discourse, democracy can mean something very different depending on your political party affiliation and whether you watch MSNBC. Therein lies the rub. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the point. That's what I'm asking today. What democracy are you talking about, and who is the democracy for? Right.
They know the West is about to fall. They know it. They washing so much money through Ukraine. They trying to make sure that, you know what I'm saying, they get their little piece of the pie. So when it's time to get the fuck on, they're getting the fuck on. Like, man, it's about to fall. It's about to be bad. And this is the real news that motherfuckers should be talking about. Man. But they don't want to start. They talking about, oh, your democracy, and then when shit really falls, they like, oh, well, it's all Trump falls, all this fall. Like, no. It's the whole, you know what I'm saying? One bad apple spoils the what? All right, then. So you throw out the whole bunch. You can't just replace a good apple, a bad apple with a good apple and put it in a bad apple place. The apples around it already became rotten.
That's what they always forget to finish that thing when they say, you know, it's just one bad apple in a bunch. The full quote is one bad apple makes the whole bunch bad. And this is the thing. And I don't know where I was covering this, but if you got, let's just say by their narrative, you got one bad cop. The one bad cop is doing bad cop shit. What do you call the good cops who know that this bad cop is doing stuff, but they're not saying nothing? How are they still being labeled good? Anyway, we can debunk that all day. But I like this comment. I'll leave this be the last one. Affluent America, we're on the verge of losing our democracy. Poor America, what democracy? And that is the point of the tweet there. I think we're gonna be wrapping it up here. Rome, when can people see you again? What's going on with Rome? What's going on with Rome's show? What's going on with
I'm trying to find a fucking
not a
producer,
daily
man.
show. You just trying to do a daily show, man. You can't do a daily show.
No. It's gonna be pre-recorded. It's gonna be.
Oh, even if he gonna do. Let's do this then. Let's do this. Let's put it out there for a producer for you. Let's put it out there for a producer for you. So let's put it out there now. Let me adjust this real quick. So I'm gonna put the email up. Rome producer. I gotta say it out like that, otherwise I'll spell shit wrong. All right, so if you are able to volunteer as a producer for a stream, Rome needs help with making sure a stream is put together, getting the graphic together. Now we have a graphic designer, so you would just have to reach out to Robin and say, hey,
I just need a motherfucker with green screen. You know what I'm saying? Who know how to work with green screen?
You need a physical person in physical where you're at.
Shit, I did this before. Just the motherfucker, you know what happened, you know what I'm saying, with
Yeah. Oh, so the person can be remote and still help you with the green screen. Okay.
I can just send the videos over and just and they.
Okay. I get what you're saying. I did the same thing with my other ones. I had somebody at that in later. Okay, so revolutionary.
I got a writer. I got a writer, and like we already on it, but it's just like that's
all right. So email us and put Rome producer in the subject if you want to volunteer. Maybe you can have a team. Maybe you can have maybe 2 people that can work in a conjunction. But if you're able to volunteer as a producer for Rome, and I'm saying volunteer because we're on screen, you can talk to Rome about something else in the background. I don't want to put that out there. So I'm saying volunteer, but you can talk to Rome otherwise. But email us and we'll get you in connected with Rome. But only serious inquiries. People, what do they have to know to help you? Don't worry about StreamYard because StreamYard is real easy to learn. It's really self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that.
What
do you want them to have to know?
Green screen work, and like not just that. I seen a couple of people, but no, I need some good green screen work. You know what I'm saying? And for you to be active, you know what I'm saying? Like I need, because I'm gonna send you shit just off the top, and I need you to be open to
be available
to make those videos.
Yeah. When do you think you're gonna be doing your show? Like what day of the week you think you'll be doing your show?
Shit, it's gonna be pre-recorded, so I can just push off.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I forgot you're not doing live. It's gonna be pre-recorded, so this makes it a lot easier for that person then. So if you're able to volunteer, email us, put in the subject line.
It's like true crime, but political. You know, we're gonna be talking about politicians, you know what I'm saying, their hits and shit like that. And you know, it's gonna be something different, but it's gonna be deep.
What else? So we got a producer on your way for that. What else is going on with Rome? Anything else before we get out here? Any other streams, any activism coming up that you're gonna be covering? I know you did a police watch not too long ago. Anything like that coming up? You're gonna be doing again?
Yep. I got a show coming up with this one sister. I ain't gonna put her name out there right now, but she was getting harassed and stalked by the police. So we're gonna be talking about that actually Friday. So
okay.
So,
and then make sure you like this stream on your way out. I don't think I'm going to be doing a stream tomorrow, but I didn't think I was going to be doing one today. But at the last minute, the wife's schedule changed, so I was able to come on and do this today. Let me see. Any questions or comments for Rome? I think I saw some. Let me make sure. Yes, we're at 20K. Both us and Sabby are at 20K. Man, just imagine we are at 100K. 100K. I just want to get to a point where I can do this full time and really concentrate on do this and the community work full time. I don't mean streaming only. To do this full time. So that doesn't mean it has to be a lot of money, but whenever we get to that place. Loving the Detroit hat, Rome.
Thank you. Man, I got a nice collection of hats. I got a nice ass Los Angeles hat when I was out there in Compton.
Yeah, usually problems with green screen can be solved with usually it's the wrinkles in the green screen or the lighting. But there is some after effects that can be done to do the work, not to fix problems, but to do the work. Rome, please be careful in Detroit with that water. It is all kinds of toxic. What water? You drinking tap water, you mean?
Yeah, they think about Flint, Detroit. Some parts of Detroit is good. I ain't even in Detroit though.
What's wrong with the? Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah. Oh shoot. We went past our time. We were supposed to have end already. Damn, let's end. The 3 o'clock is the Sabian show. Damn. All right, so we gotta go. The Sabby Sab and JB show is 3 minutes late because of us. Our apologies. So let's end because they just